Okay, so this is our Samsung telly, which stopped working a little while ago. The little red light in the bottom corner just kept flashing. We couldn't get it to switch on. Sometimes apparently there's a clicking noise like a light switch being switched on and off. We didn't get any of that. It was just a little flashing red light, and apparently it's the capacitors on the power supply board. So we're going to have a go at fixing it this afternoon. So here we go. We've laid the telly down, screen down onto a soft surface. In this case it's the living room rug, and we're going to undo the screws at the back. The dog's going to give us a hand. Now the screws we have to undo are marked down here. Get your ears out of the way. Down here and here with a little arrow. They're also marked just here, the white arrows there. So we're going to undo those, make sure we've got them all. They're all around the side of the case, and we'll undo those and get the back off the telly. Okay, so having taken the back off the telly, this is what we find, and this is the board that we're interested in. That's the power supply board. Now there'll be 6 screws to undo, and they'll be down here, here and here, and then 3 on the other side as well. And then obviously just unhook all the cables as well, so they just pull out, and then we're ready to have a look and see where the problem might be. Right, so the board's out, and the 2 capacitors that are usually the problem are this one and this one. Now, I don't know if you can see the top of that one, but it's slightly domed, and it shouldn't be domed. It should be nice and flat like these ones. So they sometimes do actually burst, so it's a lot more obvious. What we're actually going to do is change 6 capacitors. That's this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and we're going to upgrade 2 of them as well, from 10 volt rating to 16 volt rating. It's very important, because they're electrolytic capacitors, they store charge like any capacitor. Short them out on the back before you start working, just to make sure there's no voltage left in them. And these are the new capacitors up here. We've got some solder wick to clean up the old joints, soldering iron obviously, and most importantly a cup of tea. Now the new capacitors, you'll see that one leg is longer than the other. The longer leg is a positive side, the shorter leg is negative. You can mark it on the board, but it is already done. If you look just round the capacitor, there's a thicker line on that side of it, and that is your negative side. So very important that you get the polarity right of the capacitors. So I'm going to start cleaning those joints up and removing the capacitors. I'm going to do 2 at a time, and I'm going to start with these 2 here. So just while I'm waiting for the soldering iron to heat up, this is the back side of the circuit board, and these will be the 2 capacitors I'm changing first. So we're working up in this area of the board. I've shorted them out by putting a screwdriver across both terminals. So all being well, I'm not going to die of electric shock. And obviously when you take the back off the telly, make sure that it's not plugged in or connected to the power in any way. So there we have the new capacitors in place. See the legs sticking through. Made sure that they are the right way round, the correct polarity. So it's now time to dab some solder on those and then move on to the next two. So that's the first two soldered in, 4 legs. Quite important that when you're using a soldering iron on a circuit board, you don't keep the soldering iron on there for too long. You don't want to cause any damage to the circuit board or other components. You want nice, shiny solder joints. You don't want dry joints because they can break down under load and cause further problems. So now on to the other 4 capacitors. Right, so we're back again and we've got all the capacitors soldered in. Just got to trim all the legs off, and that's what it looks like on the other side of the board. All nice flat tops, and as I say, just the other ones changed as well, and those are the old ones, so we'll get rid of those. And now once we've cut those legs off, we'll get the board back in, connect it up, screwed in, get the back screwed on, and we'll plug it in and see if it works. The moment of truth. So we've got the screws back in, and now we can start to connect the cables back up. It's all fairly obvious where they go. Luckily, I didn't have to mark anything up. It's all fairly straightforward, and they'll only go in one way, clip in place. Right, that's the power in. That's everything ready. Are we happy with that? What do we think? We'll get the back on the telly. The back's over here. Oh. Line this up with one hand. There we go. And then it's just a case of putting these little screws back in. There should be 2 around there somewhere. There's one. Oh, there's the other one there. And then around here, where it's got the arrows. See the little arrow just there. These ones here, the S, they're the ones that would fix it to the stand. So we're just going to screw all these back on. Okay, so I've got the telly connected in now, and then you can see this little red light. This is the light that was just flashing all the time before. So if we turn it on, it's not connected up to anything, it's just got the power cable, but that looks pretty good. And there we go, a working telly. So for the sake of £5 or £6 for the new capacitors, it's been a success. There we go, all up and running quite happily. Fantastic stuff. Hope this has been helpful, and good luck.